ahead of time. Yeah.
Yes, that's quite all right. That's quite all right. Thank you so much again for having me on the show with you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you each week to help sensitize the public to what's going on across Barbados. But there's a lot of hot water in Barbados tonight, and I hope that the public here in Barbados, they're beginning to wake up. Mr. Clark has now been probably the first victim of this feminist movement here in the island of Barbados. And it's unfortunate that we've gone through so many years of people singing about, Gabby singing about the bees, you know, Mr. Dale singing about Pilly and singing about, all these different politicians. They sang about Mr. Frondell Stewart. He wasn't saying nothing. Frondell ain't saying a word. Um, you know, even Malik used the prime minister's name in his, famous song of 2007. He mentioned Jadio and Mia Motley, all of them for cup, and he even mentioned at the end of the song, the prime minister went out at the time. So I really don't understand why this situation could not have been taken with some level of laughter and just let's move on. I have no idea why it would come to such a pass, but to see this happen to Mr. Clark, this is a telltale sign that Barbados is pretty much on the verge of destruction. And I'm going to say this, I appreciate females in position, but we have too many females in leadership position in Barbados, and it is creating a huge problem. And I would also accept this as an attack on men. Okay, so unfortunately, this is what has happened to Mr. Clark, and I'm standing in support with him. He's a good friend of mine, and unfortunately, Barbados has gotten to the place. Even they could have left this until after we had completed independence, but I think that right now this entire nation has to stand up because our freedom of speech is being seriously attacked by this administration. And I have to let the public know that this situation with Mr. Clark, this is not just a matter of Starcom. This is political. It always has been from the very beginning. It's political. Don't forget that classic song. His song was removed as well from the radio stations in Barbados. And this administration, they seem not to want anybody to say anything negative about them. All the while they're doing negative things, but they don't want anyone to say anything negative. So we have to stand with Mr. Clark on this issue. And I hope that Barbadians are beginning to wake up that the time has come to get this government out of office and put individuals there that will move Barbados into its destiny. We can't trust these individuals right now. And in a way, I'm actually happy for Mr. Clark as well, too, to the fact that we see right now that even elements like Starcom Network are bowing to the anti-Mia rhetoric and bowing to this this travesty that we have as a government. And I think the time has come for our people to stand up, make a decision. We need to do something about it now. So I'm standing with Mr. Clark on this issue. So I'm really happy that so many individuals are calling to voice their opinion about the matter. And we have to move on, and we have to move on beyond this party before our country can actually get better.
Yes, most definitely, Apostle Scantlebury. I'm sitting here, and I remember when your rights were violated.
Yeah.
And this I don't want to get emotional tonight, but
Yeah.
I remember that, and I remember I didn't even know you at the time. I went and looked up the name of your church because I wasn't familiar with you.
Right.
Yeah. And when I went and to get the correct name of the church, I don't think we had even spoken. You could let me know, but I went and I researched all of that because I didn't need to know you to stand with you.
Yes, ma'am.
When the whole they didn't hear the whole story, and they were against Apostle and his wife, his beautiful wife, Prophetess Heather. I don't go to their church. I don't need to.
Yeah.
And this is
That.
what I'm saying about us.
Yeah.
You
This.
don't need to even know Ronnie Clark. You don't need to know him. The point is this, sir, and this is why I'm saying to them, when they come with their spin, every single one of you who watch the show, I know this show is going to go up in the thousands. Listen to me. When you watch the show, hear what I am telling you. These are the facts. At no time did the announcer, Apostle, I'm sitting on here and God knows the truth. At no time did he come on the show as no programs manager and all this nonsense station. I don't want it what they're saying. He never came on as any station manager or / programs manager. Never. He was on here 3 times.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't understand. And even if we made a slip, we would say, because he and I had that discussion.
Yeah.
And so that is number one. Number two, Apostle, we sat and we saw, we were at our home, wherever we were, and we knew that Starcom went ahead and they banned the song.
Mhm.
Whatever you want to call it, the point is that you never play the song.
Right.
Everybody else, and you could not tell the people why the song was not being played. What broadcast rule, what laws did it break? And you went and you played the song on finals night.
Pretty much.
So there's nothing, you can't come to us and tell us nothing now because they're planning to do a spin by Monday. Watch it. Believe me when I tell you, they're going to try to paint this man and they're going to try to destroy Ronnie Clark by Monday. That is how it works in the media. They
Mhm.
already sit down on the plan. They came out with this on Friday afternoon because they know we're going into the weekend past. Apostle, you were saying
Exactly.
something.
Exactly. And this is the modus operandi of this administration over and over. It's always this end of the week thing so that, we go over into another week. So they're using this as their plot to cushion what is happening. They know the weekend is usually a busy time and a lot of people don't have, and of course brass tacks is usually basically a weekday thing. And so this was strategically planned. I can tell you that. I spoke to Mr. Clark when this whole issue came out. We saw each other briefly. We talked about his suspension, and I pretty much knew that him being fired was coming. Starcom Network for years have been lobbying to have their own television license here in Barbados, and they've never gotten it. Okay, so especially with this administration that is so vindictive and deadly, they're going to tread cautiously, and whatever they're threatened with, they're just basically going to toe the line. And I knew that Mr. Clark was going to be removed. I knew that from the time that all of this situation came out about this song, which to me really shouldn't have been a problem, but I knew this was coming, and he knew it was coming. Okay. But the reality is that Barbadians have to stand up now because this means that our freedom of speech, and again, you want to look into the whole issue of the Crop Over Festival. It has become too political. Okay.
Yes.
It's become too political. It's all the way back when I spoke to an individual when Edwin Yearwood won the competition, and a particular person was over that particular ministry that controls the NCF, and one individual told me they were so upset with the whole event that year because they were told that Mr. Yearwood must win all three of the all three places must be given to him. He must win all three. And that year he won Pick of the Crop, he won uh, Road March, he won Party Monarch, he won all three. Okay, but the system was rigged to favor him. And before um, Observer, remember Observer who passed recently? I had a chance to speak to him, and that was the year when he had the song Cat Attack. Okay, and that was a major song in Barbados. And he told me that he spoke to an individual at the time that was working at the NCF, and he said they told him I think he placed second that year. He told me that he was told by an individual that the reason why he didn't win that particular year was because when they print the flyer for Cropover, they wanted to project a certain image, and the fact that he was Rastafarian and wearing his locks and all that kind of stuff, that would not really have given Barbados the image in terms of the flyer that they would have been putting abroad, publicizing the Cropover for the following year. So he lost on a technicality that he didn't have the facial aesthetics. Let me put it that way. So this has become this has become a very serious political. It's too much politics involved in this, and I think Red Plastic Bag he concluded one of his songs years ago when they were giving him the Tercel, and he mentioned at the latter part of the song that he said politics and this thing like hell, but not a fella in driving mine Tercel. So he knew that a lot of politics got into
to hold him up. They lynched him. Basically, they lynched him, held him up so that the rest of Barbados would be scared.
Yeah.
They lift up Ronnie Clark and they say, look what we did to him.
Yep. It's crucify him, you know. They tried that with me, and it didn't work. They tried that, and you know, it's like any person that speaks out against them, all of a sudden they have a problem with them. And but I want them to know there's one person, if there's one person in Barbados that's not afraid of Mia Motley or this administration or anybody that she may have protecting her, it's Apostle Scantlebury. And I want her to understand that I'm not in this nation, you know, because I can be. I was born here. I have rights here, and she can't take my rights from me or my family or my ministry. And they have to understand this is not over until God says it's over. And it's just too much to what is happening to Mr. Clark right now. It is unfortunate, it's dangerous, but it's sending a very serious message to the entire population of Barbados, and we need to wake up right now before it is too late. For the time comes when, you know, you can't even walk down the street and say anything slightly about anybody before you have something like this happen. Now, I did what I had to do during COVID, and the Lord backed me up and showed to Barbados that what He showed me about this entire COVID system was correct.
This is what they don't understand, and this is what they have them up at night, right? And they don't understand how this show works. I am sitting on the show. You know, somebody sent me this flyer. I didn't ask the person to do it. I'm trying to get a hold of our flyer person. I didn't ask the person to do it. I am sitting here, Apostle, and somebody sent this to me. That's the power of what happens on this show, folks. That's why you confuse. And I tell you, when you try to stop it, when they're going to try it, Apostle, to stop it in this way, it's going to flow over here because it's not about one person. It's not centralized.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And again, it comes to the reality that we have to wake up and realize that so many entities in this island have sold out, and they're under the fear of this administration. They're not functioning righteously. They're just, in survival mode right now because of this type of mafia style government that we have right now. And I'm hoping that Mr. Clark is at least listening and realizing that there are so many individuals that are standing in support of him right now. And between now and tomorrow morning, going into the latter stages of the weekend, we're going to see exactly how Barbadians are going to respond to this, how the entertainers are going to respond to this situation. And we'll see if Barbadians will finally find a place where they can stand together and have a situation where they can send a clear message to this administration that we are not going to allow anything like this to ever happen on our shores. This is an attack on freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and it's an attack even on the arts here in Barbados as far as Cropova and Calypsonians are concerned. So this goes, very deep. It cuts very, very deep into what Barbadians have been accustomed to. We've never seen it like this. I think back in the day, Griner sang a song, and he said everybody was a bee. He even said Gabby was a bee, Tom is a bee, Bree is a bee, and stinging everybody. And we went along with it. We had a good time. Everybody danced, everybody clapped. And now all of a sudden you have a simple situation like this, and they've taken it to this level. And now is the time to actually stand up and do something about it. So I'm hoping that more Barbadians are beginning to wake up and realize that our nation is under threat because of this administration that believes that nobody should say anything about them whatsoever. And we have to be very, very careful at this time and make sure that we do what needs to be done now to send them a message that we will not let them, as Mr. Arthur said in his very famous video, we will not let them run roughshod over us, that we will prove to them that we are not a boy in the yard or children in the yard, that we will live in Barbados where no despot, as he said, can control his destiny and control his future. And this is where we need to stand up now and make it clear that we're sending this message to this administration. We had enough, and it's time for you to go.
I literally, I
Mm-hmm.
literally got it at 9:38 and it's 9:48.
Right. Well, again, the hairstyles are matching for sure. But one of the things that is very, very, I don't know, but one of the things that we must come to a realization with this administration is, and let's go back to COVID and the plan that was levied, especially on, first of all, individuals that were speaking out against COVID and against this travesty. And I'll tell you the truth of the matter. You have so many individuals during COVID, the BAP, the Cancer Society, the Heart and Stroke Foundation. You had so many individuals that were speaking and talking, and right now you can't even hear them. And they knew the agenda. The plan was whoever spoke out against this COVID-19 scamdemic, they were supposed to be silenced. And that's what they had to do. They had to make sure. Unfortunately, you had so many individuals who went along with that, including the church. Now, the fact is that so many areas of our leadership that would have normally been speaking out against what administrations are doing, most of these folk have been bought out. And a lot of the church has been bought out. And they would not see something like what is happening now to Mr. Clark as something that spiritual leaders in the nation should pay attention to.
Yeah.
Because if this is happening on this level, who is to say that there's not a plan in place to even silence the church on another level? You saw the behavior recently of the prime minister when that reverend made the comment about, we're being told that things are going well in the island, but we know that things are not going well. You saw the reaction. You saw the facial expression. We have a central
Yes.
bank governor that's telling us that we've increased 2.6% and all this stuff that they're putting up there, and we know for ourselves that that's not really what's happening. But it's almost like all of these areas are being silenced so that you can't speak. A lot of people say, and I've heard them say the Marcia show, everything is anti BLP, everything is anti. Okay, well, listen, tell them do something. Tell them to do something that we can say that was something positive. Don't just talk pretty and borrow money and expect us to applaud. I mean, do something else to show us that you have some type of ability to improve the country. Okay, but to come at this last hour and to do this to Mr. Clark, this is a travesty. This is an attack on Barbados. This is an attack on our culture. It's an attack on crop over. It's an attack on the arts. It's an attack on freedom of speech. It's an attack on freedom of expression. It's right across the board. Right across the board. This is a huge attack by this administration, and I do not understand why Starcom would have gone in this direction when CBC, that is under the control of this administration, did not ban the sound and still plays. I can't figure out how Starcom got there, but I believe that they had to be under severe, serious pressure from this administration where this is concerned in order for them to have taken this step over a sound. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you really think about it, because I don't know how they're going to justify banning the song and then playing it on finals night, and really, that's where we should have them at that time. They should have had the boycott at that time when we saw what they were doing, because it was obvious that there was no principle, there was nothing about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's when they
this
should have
is
gotten the boycott.
yeah, this is all political, and I would not doubt it if a call was made um, from the prime minister where this was concerned. I mean, I have no doubts that this decision by Starcom is driven by politics. I have no doubt about it because this
Yeah,
is
it's
we've
your
seen.
opinion. You're free to give your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I honestly, I mean, I work with Starcom. I worked with Starcom for years, um, and I've had my time of issues. I've been removed from my broadcast has been removed twice, um, twice from Starcom, and both times it was from the Barbados Labour Party. Both times. Okay. The last one was due to something that I had mentioned in relation to Mr. David Thompson at the time. But the reality is that politics is very, very, and I'm going to say this because, Mr. Arthur is no longer with us. And so I had a situation, I made some comments, and I was at my office and I got a call. I looked at it, it said government headquarters. When I answered the phone, the gentleman said, please listen to me carefully. I'm going to only say this one time. He said, the prime minister is listening to your broadcast. Be careful. And he put the phone down. Okay. So I know when politics gets involved in what is coming over the airwaves and what the print media, what they're putting up there. And you look carefully, as long as it has anything to do with making this administration or Miss Motley look good, it's on the front of the page. It's on the front of the page. You know, I've seen cases where there were things being done by Mr. Stewart when he was prime minister. It didn't go to the front of the page, the paper. It was on page 3. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we have an understanding of how they get involved and they bring politics into everything, and they're expecting that the people are not going to are going to sit back, and we're not going to say anything. We're just going to be quiet. We're going to be like little poolers. We're not going to do that. We're going to get up. We're going to be like big strong pit bulls. We're going to come back at them. We're going to tell them shut this down. We're going to make sure they reinstate Mr. Clark. We're going to do what we need to do to make sure that this is right. Okay, so we're not going to be playing games with them again, because this is absolutely wrong for Barbados to have fallen into this state. And listen, it is all because of the attitude, and it's all because of the policies of this administration that is leading this country away from righteousness and bringing us into this state where, you know, they can do whatever they want. They can interfere with whoever they want. They want to discredit whoever they want. They tried it with me and it didn't work. And we have an opportunity to stand up and make sure it doesn't work in this situation either.